What's up, everybody, and welcome back to A Beer a Day with TK. It's Friday evening here in Findlay, Ohio. I'm hanging out the house, getting ready to have a beer. I have something a little different today on offer. When I was coming home from work yesterday, I stopped by Kibbee's, this little takeout store in Bluffton, Ohio, and on the shelf I found this. It's an 8-pack. It says 8 Prost, and it has Bitburger and Kostritzer beers in there. It doesn't really give you any other information about who put it together or what the deal is. But it comes with 4 beers and 2 cans of each. So you get the Bitburger, and this says Foosball Edition 2020. So maybe this is a limited edition can or something. The Kostritzer, the Dark, the Pale Ale, and then the Bitburger Radler Naturtrub. So it's kind of neat. I think $11.99 I paid for 8 beers, 2 of each. Seemed like a pretty decent pickup. Bitburger is obviously a brewery many of you probably heard of. They have a number of beers out. They do an Oktoberfest, they have the regular beer, they do a Dunkel, and they're it's the Bitburg Brewery out of Bitburg, Germany. So that's pretty well-known brewery this time. Now, the one that I hadn't seen is this Radler. I was kind of interested in it and tried to do a little bit of research. When I went to the website, it kind of showed you a little bit about the beers, and then I went to my, the secondary sites as usual. So I go to Untappd and Beer Advocate and kind of see what they have. And it was kind of odd because it looks like there are multiple different versions of the Radler. Now, Radlers, I've had them in lemon, and then sometimes they're in grapefruit. But for this one, it looks like they have a Radler, which is 2.5%. This Radler Naturtrub, which I looked up and means naturally cloudy, which is 1.9%. And then they offer 0% non-alcoholic versions of both the regular Radler and the Naturtrub. So it's kind of difficult to figure out which one I was looking at. This is actually the Naturtrub, 1.9%. When I went to Untappd, it did have it listed and there were ratings. Beer Advocate didn't. They only had the regular Radler listed. And that was a 3.49 and got an 80 rating of good. So I'm expecting this to be pretty good. Now, I've had Radlers in the past, and I actually kind of enjoy them once in a while. Usually I have something like this in the summer, but it was actually quite warm here today. I think it hit just about 60, so I figured it probably won't be 60 for several more months. Might as well break out the Radler. I figured I'd check this one out. Now, Radlers are kind of like a fruit beer. It's kind of a combination of lemonade or soda and beer, which is kind of similar to a shandy. I was doing a little research on the background between shandies and Radlers as well. And it looks like shandies originated in England, and they tended to be 2/3 beer and then 1/3 something else. So it could be lemonade, some kind of soda, ginger ale, ginger beer, something of that nature, where I guess traditionally the Radlers were 50-50. I'm guessing this one is a lighter version because the alcohol percentage is down versus the regular old Radler. But that's the background. Now, what's kind of cool with the Radler thing, there's a story about where the Radlers came from. So it looks like there was someone who owned a beer hall or something in Munich, and a giant bike race was coming through, and one day he was inundated with 13,000 guests, and he didn't have enough beer to go around. So he started kind of watering down the beer with this lemon soda that he couldn't get rid of. And I guess Radler is short for Radler Mast, which means cyclist leader. So Radler Mast is short, Radler is short. So because the cyclists came through, I guess they got liters of mixed beer as opposed to the regular beer. So kind of a neat backstory. Let's check it out. Going with the Fuller's glass today. Radlers are again, pretty solid. In the summer, this is something usually you drink. I've had a few before. Stiegel has some really good ones. Schoenhofer has some interesting ones. They have a grapefruit one that I had a bad run-in with. I hate the taste of grapefruit. And, Anderson from the show picked up a grapefruit one, brought it to my house. I hated the flavor of the grapefruit. It was so overpowering, so I thought maybe I could try to sweeten it up. I got some sugar, went to pour it in. My brain immediately said, what are you doing? By the time the sugar hit the glass, it started going everywhere. So not only do I have horrible grapefruit, I had a mess from the horrible grapefruit all over my table. So this is pretty clear and see-through, kind of a lighter color like you'd expect, maybe a very light straw, fair amount of carbonation. I actually thought I'd get a little bit more, as this is kind of probably closer to a soda than a beer. As to the head, you have a light, kind of soapy white head there. Smell, pure citrus. This smells like wonderful lemons, nice lemonade, which is something I'm actually a big fan of. So nice smell there. Not really getting a whole lot of anything else. Taste is actually really nice. This tastes like a nice lemonade with maybe the tiniest bit of malt or something mixed in with it. If you gave this to somebody and didn't tell them it was a beer, they'd probably just think it's some kind of soda or some sort of lemonade, kind of drink. The only thing that might throw you off is the color is probably a little darker than you'd expect with lemonade. It's kind of a little more of a really light pale beer color, but it's really hard to pick up much from the beer. It's kind of zero hops. You might get a tiny little bit of maltiness, and that's about it. The rest is kind of sweet, like a sweet lemonade. This is a really nice drink. Now, this is certainly sessionable at 1.9%, although I don't know that I'd really want to drink a ton of them because it is a little bit on the sweet side. But if you're looking for something a little bit different, and you've had enough IPAs and stouts and stuff, I guess, check out a Radler. There's a nice little addition to the beer family, right? It's not something you'd have all the time, but definitely worth checking out. So Bitburger Radler Naturtrub, the cloudy one, you get a thumbs up. I would definitely drink another one of these. It's a decent beer. If you liked the video, please hit that like button. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, please hit subscribe. And as always, if you have friends or family that are interested in beer videos, please share the video. And if you have any comments, if you've had this, you've had some other Radlers, you think they're good or bad, hop in on the comments. Let me know what you think. Have a great weekend. Cheers.